Welcome back to the Creating Wealth and Wellness podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Tara Mistledine, and with me is Amanda Kingsley. And today we're going to take you on a journey where freedom is cultivated through personal development, where women connect to fuel their futures, and where wealth is created as a byproduct of being well. Hi, Amanda.
Hey, hey.
Hi. So today we're going to be talking about the imposter syndrome and what that actually means and what it means to us. But before we do that, let's talk about our gratitudes.
Let's do it. Gratitude. I have gratitude for my toolbox, right? So when not screwdrivers and hammers, they are also awesome. But I love adding little tools to my toolbox. So for instance, rescue remedy when I'm feeling stressed, or a card deck when I need some inspiration or guidance. The reminder to meditate. So I feel like I have like a toolbox of things I can lean into, and every once in a while I'll add a new tool and be like, oh, another tool for the toolbox. But I really love having lots of ways to get through a challenge or to make something even better when it's awesome.
Cool. Very cool. I like that too. So my gratitude today is for an audio book that I stumbled into that I absolutely flipping love.
Yay!
And I'm only probably halfway through it, but it's actually like really evolved my paradigm already. And it is called Things No One Tells Fat Girls. And it is largely about, body positivity, self-love, and lots and lots and lots of other things. This woman is phenomenal. So I suggest you listen. Her name is Jess Baker, and her ID online is the Militant Baker. And it's like a feminist, body positive, self-love,
cool. I've never
lifestyle website.
Do you listen on Audible? What do you listen on?
No, I listen on Libby. I talked about it a few episodes ago that it's one of my gratitudes.
It didn't work for me, so
Do you have a library membership?
Yeah, I entered it and then I was like, oh, haven't used that.
Well, we can help troubleshoot offline, but I listen on Libby and I love it.
Sweet. I love that. Okay, cool.
Okay, so today we're talking about the imposter syndrome, and this is feeling super real for me. When I suggested that we talk about this, it was because it was like rearing its ugly little head on me, and it doesn't a lot. And it was interesting that it did. So what does it mean to you when we start talking about the imposter syndrome?
I think when you mentioned this, I was like, oh, perfect. This has come up like 3 times for me this week, for myself, for my clients. And like, what does it mean for me? Okay. It means stepping into a role, whether it's public or not, in which you parenting is coming to mind, right? Like a lot of times this is what we do as parents, right? Like our kids, particularly as they get older, present us with a situation, and this place of feeling like you have to step into this role that you're a little unsure of, but also still supposed to step into. So there's like fraud, which would be like pretending you're something you're not. And then there's imposter syndrome, where we'll take a really simple toddler example, which would be, oh yeah, I got that. I'm going to put that bug outside. No problem. Where in the back of your head, you're freaking out because you hate spiders. But to step into your role as mother and adult and leader, you're like, totally, I am on it. Let's put that spider.
I got this. I'm not scared of that bug. Yeah.
So that's the difference to me between like imposter syndrome. The way I see it is like stepping into a role that's good for you, and you know you're on the right track, and you know you're supposed to be, and you know you're even good at it, but it still scares the crap out of you. Versus just fraud, where like, I'm going to teach you, how to manage your money, when really I have no idea what the heck I'm doing, and you're probably going to lose it all. Right?
Yep.
So
And that's a great distinction, because saying that you can fix the problem when you know nothing about the problem
Yeah.
is fraud. But knowing that you can help someone's mindset so that they can fix their own problem and you still feel a little bit unqualified, you might be unqualified to fix the problem. You're not unqualified to offer help and support.
Right.
And that's often when we will feel that imposter syndrome, like, oh, who am I to? But it's not necessarily that you're unqualified to do it. Just maybe unproven can sometimes lead to it.
And it's just like, no, I am totally qualified to move this spider outside.
So crazy uncomfortable.
To coach someone through a challenge in their relationship. But exactly what you said, but it's still uncomfortable, right? It's like, still, you're like, and this happens probably in, I'm going to say 60 to 70% of my coaching calls with clients, where I hit a point and I'm like, oh no, you're a fraud. You're not going to get them through this. And I have to consciously say to myself, just stick with it. You can do this. And then there's this massive aha moment for myself, which transfers to them, and everybody leaves happy. But it is this, like, I know I'm capable. I just have to remind myself that I'm capable.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Yeah, it's like the imposter part is that moment where you're like, oh no, I can't do it. And then the part that you have to push through is like, yes, you can. And then you do.
Yeah. Or not even like saying to yourself, oh no, I can't do it. But like, oh gosh, can I do this? Like this all of a sudden lack of confidence, even in something that you think that right before that opportunity presented itself, you wouldn't have even questioned. And I know that it comes up for me a lot around making excuses for my achievements or successes. Like, oh, something happened despite me, not because of me.
Right.
Like, oh, I have found this success in my business despite the fact I have no idea what I'm doing. Well, actually, no, because I have a lot of skills that have translated into this business becoming successful. But like when somebody is asking me about it,
it's like,
often it's like, oh, I'm like a crazy train wreck, and somehow I ended up with a successful business too,
Yeah, it's like, oh no, I'm not a good marketer. I just get a lot of referrals.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Like, no, actually, you got a lot of referrals because you market to people who will refer to you.
Or even like, oh, I just got lucky and picked the best man on the planet. The fact that I have participated in marriage for 13 years has nothing to do with it, Like, I have no idea how to have a successful relationship. I just ended up with a really good husband, like, oops a daisy, stumbled into that one.
Yeah.
But that happens all the time, where it's like we're not owning our own successes. We're not owning our own experience as like, a feather in our cap, so to speak.
Yeah. I actually was just writing about this again in terms of parenting in my book, in a place where I was like, I had one kid and she was awesome. And I would tell everybody I got lucky. And then I had another kid and she was completely different, because that's how it works with kids. And she still was awesome. And I got us through all the challenges. And I was like, cool, maybe I got lucky again, or maybe I'm a decent mother. And then I had a third kid and it was like, oh great, a whole new set of challenges and stuff. And it's like, okay, yes, I got lucky and I'm an awesome mother, right? It's like, took me 3 kids to accept that I didn't just get lucky. Like, part of it is the way I parent, and it's not so bad. Like,
and how awesome when we have things like that in our lives that disprove that imposter fear thing. But what happens in our lives when, despite feeling like we know what we're doing and putting all of the effort in, and things just like aren't working out as good as we want or need them to work out? Like, how do we counteract that imposter syndrome then? Like,
then you're like, proof. Oh, there's
exactly
the proof that I'm an imposter.
Right. Like, I tried a couple of things and they worked, and I tried a couple of other things and they didn't work. So what do I tell myself now when that voice when an opportunity presents itself and I'm like, I don't know, if based on experience, I've got a 50-50 chance of this being a wild success or an epic failure. Like,
Yep.
what can we say to ourselves then? Like, if that was your coaching client who had this amazing opportunity, this amazing idea, and had evidence to support both perspectives, like, I shouldn't, I have no right to do this, or I don't deserve this, or yeah, I got this. What would you help walk them through?
Yeah. Well, my kid is
Not to put you on the spot or anything.
Well, it's funny because I hear from the other room, mom, 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 because I think he's on the potty and needs to be wiped. So I'm going to give you an answer, and then I'm going to let you reflect for a few seconds while I go do some wiping.
Cool. Do that.
I'm in it right now with myself all the time. But for me, it comes back to, I think it was the last episode we recorded where you tap into your goal.
Mm-hmm.
And this just happened to me with a client on a coaching call yesterday, where she got some feedback that maybe she wasn't on the right track, and could have easily taken it as a sign that she was on the wrong track and was a fraud and wasn't cut out for the job and should bail on it, right? And I said, I used what you brought up in the last episode, which was, does the goal and mission still bring you joy, right? Do you still get passionately excited when you imagine implementing and apply, and impacting people with this mission? And she was like, yes, of course I do. And so there's your answer, right? Like, that's when you know to push through, is when you separate what just happened from the goal and mission itself. Like, does the goal and mission still get you excited? Then it doesn't matter how many people told you you weren't worthy or qualified or prepared. Doesn't matter what evidence you have that you're an imposter. Just come at it back from the place of your passion, right? Does that?
Yeah. Oh, totally. I mean, that was you go ahead and do your mama thing.
Reflect on that for a second, and I will do beat real fast.
Pause. Okay, welcome back, mama. Okay, so what I was reflecting on while I was waiting for you is right in line with this. The way that I think about it is that you don't need a guarantee that things will go well to try if you're excited.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you do feel that joy, if you do feel that spark, you know what? It might fail. It might go horribly, or it might go great. But you still got a 50-50 shot, and you got a 0% chance of succeeding if you don't even try.
Right.
So what that will do is guarantee that you prove that you weren't for it.
Yeah. And if you go back to your initial goal, mission, purpose, whatever,
your why,
and your why, and you lose that, you realize you don't have the passion or the joy for it anymore, then you probably are okay, imposter verified, bail on it. Mm-hmm. If you go back, you have the passion, the mission, the joy, and you are excited, then it's like, oh, this is imposter syndrome versus imposter verification. Right. Right? And so it's like, just go back and decide, is this the syndrome or is this the verification? And yeah, it comes back to knowing yourself and listening to your inner truth, which can be really challenging for some people and takes practice. Mm-hmm. It takes, yeah.
So that's you inspired me to actually quickly Google the definition of imposter syndrome. And imposter is the same thing as fraud. I mean, it's someone who pretends to be something that they're not, specifically for fraudulent gain, you know? And imposter syndrome, it describes as a collection of feelings of inadequacy that persist despite evident success.
Yes.
So it's like when you feel like you're not worthy, even though you've proven that you are.
Yep. Absolutely. So and it's normal.
It is. It is. And so many of us feel this, despite however successful we have been or are.
Yeah. And I'll say to my clients, do you think that's going to go away someday? And like they will either answer yes or no, but a lot of them do. They think that it is going to go away someday. They'll hit a mark and it will disappear. And then I have to remind them, actually, the chances of you feeling that again when you set your next goal are pretty much like 90 to 100%. So what we need to do is we need to talk about the thoughts around this and how to manage it, not how to hit the goal so it goes away or how to make it go away. It's like the chances of you feeling this for the rest of your life, if you have a like go-getter growth mindset, are pretty high. So let's talk about how to move through it, not how to make it go away.
Yeah. Yeah. And this brings to mind the metaphor of like the dented cake pan. Like it's not that you have a shortage of evidence that you're qualified or a shortage of evidence that you will be successful in this. It's that the mindset still gives you these feelings that override your confidence in your success. So it's like having that dented cake pan. It's not, no batches of cake are going to come out without that dent if you keep using that pan. So the only way to counteract that is to work on the dent or work on the pan, not to work on the recipe of the cake. You know, it's not to make more cakes. So it doesn't matter. You're always going to have that moment of like, okay, that is going to rise up no matter what. And what do you do? What do you do with it?
I love that. I've never thought about the dented cake pan.
Really? Oh, I find like that. I find it comes up for me all the time as a great metaphor.
The answer is not to make more cakes.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Or even to change the recipe. Like no recipe of cake batter that you put in that pan is going to come out without the dent.
Yeah, and feel the feelings, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I feel like an imposter, but I'm not.
Yep. I feel like an imposter, but I'm going to do this anyway.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Right?
Yep.
I have no evidence to prove that I am fraudulent.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to feel it, be okay with it, and keep going.
Yep.
Yeah. Because
I think we do this all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is the difference between people who rise above and hit their goals consistently over and over again and people who don't. Because I've done it a million times in the past where I just bail because I don't want to face that feeling of yuck. Like I feel like a fake, right?
Yeah.
And then now I do this all the time. I face this all the time, probably more days than not.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to keep going because I know it's just a feeling that I have to be okay with.
Yeah. And I mean, that can be a feeling of straight up terror.
Yeah.
Of being like, I'm going to take this chance. And what if it proves to me that I shouldn't have been here? Yep. You know, that is terrifying. Terrifying. And to be honest, it doesn't always go well.
No.
But it can't go well if you don't try, you know. Yeah. If you don't take that on, you'll never have what's on the other side of it. You'll never know what was meant to be on the other side of it. And sometimes those failures are what helps shape us into the person that's capable of doing the next thing with ease. Absolutely.
Well, that's time on imposter syndrome.
Okay. That's a fun one.
What's your ask this week?
Okay, so my ask is actually of the universe, and that is to give me a little bit of normalcy soon, because my family's been in a ton of transition, and I would just appreciate some dust settling so that I can know what comes next and know what I need to do, because there's so many things up in the air right now. And so I'm just going to ask the universe, can you send a breeze to blow the dust away and let me know what's supposed to be doing right now?
Bring it, universe.
Bring it. Bring that breeze.
I'm going to ask this week because I think it's been a while for some shares. So if you are getting value from this podcast, or you're maybe not, but you know someone who would.
If you're not, thank you for sticking around so long.
Right? You made it through a whole episode, but yeah, I'm gonna ask for some shares because I think the more people we can reach who can, and I appreciate us for being just so like, hey, we're doing it. We have some answers, but not all of them. We're going to find the ones that we need. And we're in this with all of you, the listeners. So just because we're brave enough to turn it into a podcast, doesn't mean we're any different than any of you. So share with other people who could use that message, right? Like, let's just be in this and build a bigger community together.
Mm-hmm. Hear, hear. All right. Thanks, Amanda. Until next time.
Great.